Hi, and welcome back to school. This is Mrs. Mahar's individual classroom back to school night flipped video. The goal is that all parents will view this video at home and essentially get their back to school night ahead of the actual back to school night, making it so that during our evening together and our short amount of time, we can dive deeper into questions and get to know each other better. My name is Mrs. Mahar. This is my family. I'm a mother of two beautiful girls, an adorable son, and wife to an amazing husband. This is my 19th year teaching in an elementary school classroom. I taught for 5 years in Long Beach when I first graduated my credential program and have spent the past 14 years at Fissler. I have taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, as well as 4th grade and 5th grade GATE classes. This year, some of my goals for your students are to help them become independent, responsible, and reflective learners who are inquisitive and curious, seeking new ways to learn information and solve their problems. It is my desire that all students become aware of their personal learning style, their learning challenges, and realize what makes them successful and those things that they need to work on. It is also my hope that they become voracious readers. Communication is key, and I strongly believe in a strong home-school communication triad. The best way to communicate with Mrs. Mahar is through email. My email is at the bottom of this slide. I check my email multiple times per day, and I hope you will check yours daily as well, as I often send home emails in the evenings and on weekends regarding important issues or upcoming assignments, field trips, etc. Please be aware that I do have a life outside of school, and I may not always answer your email right away, especially if it is late at night, on a weekend, or if I'm busy teaching your children. Hopefully, you've signed up for Class Tag. You should have received an email from Class Tag to get yourself registered. One of the things I love about this is you can select your preferred language and receive messages that have been translated into your preferred language. This is going to be the second best way to communicate with me. I have the Class Tag app on my phone. You should get it too. The last way would be school phone. They will not transfer your phone calls to me during the teaching day, but you can always leave a message. You can keep abreast of what we have going on in our classroom on our classroom website. Power School Learning, which used to be called Haiku, is another great way to keep yourself aware of what is going on in our class. Power School Learning is used mostly to track our assignments, upload documents that students can then download, share links, turn in activities and assignments, and a parent access letter was sent home to you in your aqua blue folder on the first day of school. However, only about a third of you have actually joined our Power School Learning class as a parent. Please do so as soon as possible. The school communicates to you every Wednesday through the Wednesday folders. Occasionally, Mrs. Mahar will also put information, flyers, and graded work in these folders to be sent home as well. There is a return to school side and a keep at home side. Sometimes there are papers that get put in the keep at home side that you actually might need to complete and return to school. Anything in the return to school side is mandatory that it be returned. Please return Wednesday folders with all necessary return to school papers included the very next day, Thursday morning. Something fun we do is we take lots of pictures and we put information about how we're spending our day on our class Instagram. It is a private account and I only accept individuals who are affiliated with Fissler School to follow us. Now on to behavior. I believe that positive behavior equals success. I take a responsive approach to my discipline in the classroom. Discipline does not mean punishment. It means teaching students the right from the wrong and applying real-world consequences to help them learn to do better next time. I will often have private chats with your student and try to get to the root of the problem. We discuss the choices that the student had and which choice the student made. Sometimes you will become involved by receiving an email letting you know what happened in class. Occasionally, you may receive a discipline referral that you need to sign and return to school. This is for repeated infractions or serious issues. We have a flexible seating environment in our classroom, as you will see when you come to back to school night. We have a couch, bean bags, floor cushions, special chairs, and yoga balls. Each week, a variety of students have choice on where they sit during different activities throughout the day. This helps to teach responsibility and foster independence. I also use a classroom economy to reward students for excellent behavior and for being part of our classroom management system. Students will receive rewards for good behavior, turning papers and documents and projects in on time, as well as making great choices and doing their job. Likewise, they will receive fines for losing papers, messy cubbies, or behavior infractions. They can use their money at the end of the month in our Mahar marketplace. Item donations are always appreciated. Each week, we will also have a Scholar of the Week. Throughout the week, I look for students who are exhibiting scholarly behavior and making wonderful choices. The announcement is made on Friday, and sometime over the weekend, I usually post the Scholar of the Week and a little About Me section, as well as a photograph on our classroom website. Parents will receive an email home. The student receives $10 Cowabunga cash and special privileges, including lunch with the teacher and a friend the following Wednesday. As you know, Robert C. Fisler School is big on technology, and we are a one-to-one laptops for learning school. Fifth graders are expected to come to school daily with their laptop charged, the bag or carrying case, and the charger cord with the extension. We would also like to note that students should not be placing their laptop in a book bag or laptop bag with any other items, especially heavy textbooks or any liquids. There is a student repair form in each student's dock on their computer that they should use to report any issues. This is why we're here, to learn. These next several slides are all about our curriculum. I'm a big reader. I love reading and consider myself a voracious reader and a good reading instructor. In our class, we engage in Reader's Workshop. This means that we are not all reading the same story from the anthology and answering a set of comprehension questions at the end. Instead, students are taught during units of study. We engage in a daily mini lesson, and students have a chance to practice the skill and the strategy in their own independent reading books that they have selected that are at their reading level. In addition, students will have an opportunity to engage in book clubs and book club discussions this year. We also almost always have an interactive read aloud chapter book going, where I read to the students and we stop to talk about important ideas, themes, make inferences, answer questions, and share our thinking with partners. We also do something known as shared reading, and we have a 40 book challenge, which I'll get to in a minute. We do not use Accelerated Reader in the C3 classroom. In order to make sure that every student has their needs met, I spend 90% of my time during workshop conferring with individuals or small groups. These are called teacher conferences or strategy groups. Every day looks a little bit different, and this really helps me to get to know your reader as best as I can. Several years ago, when we started workshop, many parents were upset about us not having the use of AR. However, parents quickly realized there really are some great benefits. Students will be required to write as they read. This is a reader's notebook. Each student has a spiral notebook with either a red, yellow, blue, or green cover that I provided to them the second week of school. The color has to do with the day that they will be turning their notebooks in for me to look at. Students should be reading more than they're writing, but good readers do think about their thinking, and they do analyze characters, themes, text, they ask questions, and they ponder it all. They'll write all of these things down in their reader's notebook. Once a week, students will be required to turn in their reader's notebook based on the following color-coded schedule. I will be looking at only one page in detail, although I will be looking at their notebook to be sure they're jotting every day. They will be completing something called a zoom in. This is where students are asked to write long and strong down the page about something that they were thinking of as they read their book in the days prior. Your students will be soon receiving a book buddy with their name on a label on the front. These are just plastic book bags with plastic snapping handles. Please take very good care of these. The students need to be careful when unsnapping them, not to yank them open, and need to make sure not to shove overly large books in and not to carry anything sharp inside like pens or pencils. The 40 Book Challenge is a special way for me to help spur your student reading and to help students explore a variety of genres. Many students admit that they usually stick to just one genre, but voracious readers and well-versed readers read a variety of books by a variety of authors across a variety of genres. So their challenge this year is to read 40 books. Honesty is required, as I don't require any sort of book report, comprehension test, or parent signature. If a student says they read and completed a book, I'm going to trust them. These are the genre requirements, and your students have a copy of this in their 12-section expanding folder. Students will graph each book that they read, and not all books are created equal. They also have a document that says how many books does this count as, where a 32-page picture book certainly would not count as much as Harry Potter number 7, that's about 800 pages. Some of you will find this to be good news. I do not require reading logs or signatures. I do not track students reading nightly. I do not bother them about their reading nightly. I'm going to trust that they're reading, and that as a parent, you are helping to foster that good reading by making sure that they have a quiet reading spot at home, discussing their 40-book challenge with them, and even sitting down to read with them. If a student is reading a book at their level, they should be able to finish approximately 20 pages in a half an hour. That means that a book like Stone Fox, which is 85 pages, should only take them a couple of hours to read. This is a good indicator if your child is fake reading or just taking way too long in a book, that there's something going on and either the book is too difficult or they just may not be interested. We also engage in writer's workshop in our classroom and focus on the process of writing. Revision is a huge step in the writing process and is something that we focus on all year long. Based on the home language survey that you completed when you first enrolled your student in the Fullerton School District, they may have been flagged as an English language learner. And if they have not tested as already redesignated Fluent English Proficient on our LPAC test, that means they will be attending ELD groups 4 days a week for 40 minutes. The rest of the students will be working on language arts activities designed to improve their language arts skills in something that we call Morning Masters. Math workshop is probably going to be a little bit new to you, and I'm sure this is where most of you will have many of your questions. Math workshop is going to be a self-paced program where students are allowed to pre-test and then test out of a chapter if they show proficiency, and then move on to the next chapter. This is something new for me this year, as I've never really done curriculum compacting quite to this magnitude. Students are already testing out of chapters and becoming math mentors. We'll talk a little bit more about this at Back to School Night, and I can show you a little bit about how this works. But please just know that this is designed to meet your children where they're at. Why would I want somebody that already has standards totally under their belt and is proficient to sit through a lesson and practice it when they clearly don't need the practice? I'd much rather enrich their mathematical minds or allow them to go on to concepts they don't yet understand. Social studies and science is super fun in fifth grade. We study U.S. history, states and capitals, 13 colonies, and the American Revolution. We follow the NGSS standards for Earth, Life, and Physical Science, as well as STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. We do a lot of project-based learning. There is a focus on academic vocabulary, and most of our field trips are related to science and social studies standards. Most of our assessments in social studies and science will be announced on our classroom website. Please make sure to view the calendar page of the website frequently to see dates for tests and project due dates posted. I will also usually create a study guide for students, which will be sent home about 1 week prior to the test. Our PE days are Mondays and Thursdays. Students will also be involved in all the arts for all the kids' lessons. There are 4 cycles with 6 sessions in each cycle. Here at Visser School, we also have a computer science pathway. 5th graders will learn the language-based coding language called Python using a TechSmart platform. I believe that grades are just one indication of how a student is doing, and that failure is okay, and what's important are not the mistakes that you made, but what you're going to learn from them. And unfortunately, I have already heard many students make comments like, I got a question wrong, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Or, do I have to take this home and show my parents? I'm going to be grounded. Although your parenting style is not necessarily my business, I hope that we can form a partnership this year that allows you to understand and I to understand one another's philosophies and really embrace your child for what their strengths are and applaud their effort and their growth instead of punish questions wrong or grades not received. I try to have an improvement focus versus a grade focus, and I also try to reward students who are setting goals and meeting them. Our report cards are standards-based. Homework in 5th grade is designed to help prepare them for the rigorous world of middle school. That being said, I try not to assign more than about 1 hour of homework per evening. This does not include their independent reading, which should be done about 30 minutes per evening. Students will copy down the homework using My Planner, which is placed under the document camera every single afternoon before dismissal. It is vital that the students copy the homework down exactly as it appears in My Planner, as I will not be posting homework on Power School Learning or our classroom website. Students must pay attention, write it down, and ask questions before they leave. Students will also write a reflection of the day. I know from raising my own children that when you ask students, how was your day? They will often just say, okay, or good. Or if you say, what did you do today? They'll say nothing. And I can promise you the answer nothing will never be the truth after a day in school. So you can read their reflections of the day to see a little thought about how they feel their day went. On Fridays, parents are asked to sign in the Friday column at the very bottom in a section that is a little bit orange. Please sign your whole name instead of just initialing. Your signature is guaranteeing that you have looked at your child's planner, you are aware of the homework that they completed that week, and you have read their reflections. If your child is absent from school, please make sure that you notify me, especially if you will be gone for several days, If you know in advance you're taking a vacation and you need an independent study, or if your child is going to be out for 2 days or more. This allows me to gather the work that your child is missing and send it home. It's really stressful for students to return to school and try to play catch up. The makeup time is the same number of days that the student was absent. And independent study requests you must allow 2 weeks notice in advance. Teachers do not need to prepare independent study requests for students whose requests come in less than 2 weeks notice, or if you will be gone for less than 5 days. We will cover some more topics at Back to School Night, and I really hope to see you in attendance. Have a good evening.